If Congress passed a housing bill with support from 390 out of 399 representatives after pulling together more than 40 separate housing proposals, well, you pay attention because that level of agreement almost never shows up in a housing policy. And this one targets the biggest pressure point in today's market: supply, not rates, not demand, but supply. So what changed this week, and what does this mean if you plan to buy a home in 2026? Well, that's what we're going to be unpacking today. If you're new here, hey friend, I am Alex, and each week I break down real estate news and explain what it means for buyers, for sellers, and frankly, anyone tracking the housing market. Now, if you like straight talk without hype, well, you're in the right place. But before we jump in, well, make sure you subscribe. This video is part of a ongoing weekly series on housing and real estate trends. Subscribing will keep you updated each week and gives you access to other videos on this channel, like tips for buyers, strategies for sellers, and lifestyle topics tied with real estate decisions. It only takes a moment to subscribe too, so I'd appreciate it if you take that moment to join. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to it. Now, this week's big story comes from Washington. The House of 21st Century Act was passed in the House by a vote of 390 to 9. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, the bill is aimed squarely at supply. And that's a good thing because according to the National Association of Realtors, the country faces a shortage of about 5 million homes. Now, they also report that the median age of first-time buyers now sits at 40. And we actually covered this not too long ago. This tells you two things: supply is tight and entry-level access is very difficult. So the bill targets the bottleneck that slows down the housing. Now let's walk through what this actually does in plain language. Well, first, it pushes zoning and land use reform guidance. The Department of Housing and Urban Development receives direction to publish best practice frameworks for zoning and land use. Local governments will keep control, but they receive federal models that support duplexes, townhomes, accessory units, and mixed income builds. So why does this all matter? Well, many starter homes never reach construction due to local rules on density and lot sizes. The guidance in this bill gives cities the political and the technical cover to update those rules. Second, it speeds up review and approval timelines. The bill streamlines federal environment review steps for many small and mid-sized housing projects. Now, this includes incline build and rehab work. This is important because time equals cost in construction. When reviews drag on, financing costs rise, risk rise, and final sale price rise. Faster reviews lower friction in the pipeline. Third, this bill funds pre-approved housing designs. It creates grant programs for local governments and tribes to use pre-reviewed housing plans, often called pattern books. Now, these support faster rollouts of duplexes, townhomes, and small multifamily properties. Less design today, less approval delay, faster groundbreakings. The fourth thing the bill does is update manufacturing housing rules. It removes the permanent chassis requirement for manufactured homes and clarifies federal construction and standards. By the way, the permanent chassis requirement is a 1970s rule that requires mobile homes to have a full-length chassis under to ensure portability. Removing this requirement opens up the door in more factory-built homes that fit traditional neighborhoods. Factory-built housing often does cost less per square foot, so this change supports lower price inventory. Fifth, it targets small dollar mortgages. HUD receives authority to pilot FHA-backed loans under $100,000. Many lenders, they avoid small balance loans due to thin margins. That leaves lower price homes harder to finance at the end of the day. The pilot program targets that gap directly. Six, it updates major federal housing programs. It modernizes programs like home and community development block grants. It expands how funds support infrastructure and new affordable builds. It also requires reporting on local policies that restrict supply in public databases of unused public lands. More transparency, more build-ready land visibility, both should help directly address the supply problem we're currently facing. Lastly, the bill improves coordination across agencies. HUD, USDA, VA programs will receive direction to align reviews and share data. Duplicate steps slow projects and confuse applicants, while alignment among these agencies cuts overlap. Now, with that quick review of this very large bill out of the way, let's talk about what this means if you're a buyer in 2026. Well, first, This does not drop prices next month. It does not flood the market next quarter either. Instead, well, the bill now heads to Senate. The final law requires reconciliation with other House packages already moving through Congress as we speak. But policy direction does matter. Right now, a federal focus points straight at supply expansions across zoning, finance, design, and approves all at the same time. Even if part of this package turns into a law, you should expect more small format housing types in the pipeline over the next few years. More townhomes, more duplexes, more accessory units, more manufactured homes and modular builds. And you should also expect more attention on entry price financing tools, not only on high balance loans. And here's the bigger insight. Affordability problems rarely come from one source. They come from stacked friction across rules, timelines, and financing. This bill attacks friction at multiple points instead of one program at a time that increase the odds of measurable impact. So if you plan to buy in 2026, your advantage comes from preparedness, not prediction. To prepare to buy in 2026, well, you should track local zoning updates, watch permit and builder activity in your area, and know your credit and budget numbers early ahead of time, and stay flexible on property type. And remember this, buyers who understand supply shifts early move faster when new inventory types hit the market. And friends, that's going to be it for this housing update. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me here today. Of course, I appreciate you being here. Make sure you subscribe so you keep getting these weekly market breakdowns, plus practical videos for buyers, sellers, and other real estate focused content on this channel. Time to, turn off these cameras and get back to the grind. If you happen to be in California looking to buy or sell or have questions in the real estate market, I'm a real estate agent right here in Orange County. All my contact information will be down below. With that said, friends, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. I'm going to be shutting up the cameras, and I will see you in the next video.